Okay, so today we're going to be talking about the IPEVO document camera. So here it is. This is the VZ-X IPEVO document camera. Pretty small footprint, has a battery at the bottom, and I am recording this with the document camera, and it does have a built-in microphone, and that's what I'm using to record the sound, and that's why the sound probably is not very good. But let's just talk about some very general stuff with it, and then we'll take a closer look at the buttons and the connections on the back. So, as you can see, it's fairly small, but it feels very sturdy. It's around 3 pounds, so it's not too heavy. So, very easy and portable to just pick up, toss into a bag, and take it home if you need to. Also, so anyway, the base to the top here, if we make it really tall, like this, there you go, I'm trying to fit it. That's 22 inches, so fairly tall, and if you close it down like this, we're at 13 inches, so pretty easy. Standard connection of HDMI, which is good. It can connect to your computer via USB cable, and there is a wireless feature which we'll talk about later. For right now, though, let's take a closer look at the buttons. Just preparing. Okay, so let's take a closer look at the IPEVO VZ-X document camera. So the buttons are on the front here, as you can see. And they feel pretty fine to press. And they're very standard buttons here. We have a light button, which turns on and off the light. So here, let me show you the. So here we have our camera, and here's our light. And just give you an idea what that light actually looks like. That on here. There you go. Yeah, it's all right. It's fine. In a dark room, it does make a pretty big difference. If it's a well-lit room, you're not going to see any difference at all. Let's come on back. Okay. Here we have status indicator. Lets you know on or off, and what mode it's in. Light, as I said, filter. This is very gimmicky. Let's just do this here. Here's the different filters. I don't know if this is helpful at all, but if a teacher can find value in that, I don't know. I find it's a little gimmicky. Over here we have our rotate button, and this is really handy and it's good. It should be on every document camera you ever buy, a rotate feature. I like that it's a button here and not just in the software. Here we have our zoom. Now these are digital zooms, and of course grainy. I mean, it's okay. It's just it's a digital zoom, which is why I like the articulating arm. You can get right. Well, hold on here. That's a little. You can get right down here, and the image is pretty darn clear still. So, I'm liking that. Oh my gosh! Here we go. All right. Here, these are our exposures. You know, you can let in more light, make it a little darker if you'd like to. Here is our autofocus and autofocus light, and then of course here we have the power button. Now there are 2 more buttons on the base. Now here, obviously, this is our battery, because the base itself is a battery. Battery lasts about 9 hours, charges via USB, and it takes about 9 hours to charge. So, you know. And then we have here, this is the action button. I'm actually going to zoom in here on that. And here we go. Now this action button, if you have it just plugged into a projector or a display, when you hit the action button, it's going to freeze the image. Okay? If you have it plugged into your computer and you're using the IPEVO visualizer software, you can program this button to do many things. Start, stop a recording, take a picture, start a time lapse, etc. and so on. We'll discuss more about that a little later on. Now let's take a look at the back side here. I'm going to zoom back out. Oops, I did not hit that button. There we go. And here you're going to find some pretty basic stuff here. HDMI connection, very good. USB connection. Again, this is to charge. One thing to note about this camera is that it did not come with a charging brick, only the USB cable. I'm not sure why that is. They know it's not included. But you need it to charge it. If not, it's going to take forever, or I don't think it may not have enough to charge at all. Here we can flip between 50 hertz and 60 hertz, more for displays than anything else, especially if you're international, outside of the North America, right? And then here we have different modes. We have Wi-Fi and USB HDMI. Obviously, the USB HDMI is a connected mode, and when you flip to the Wi-Fi mode, this creates its own Wi-Fi network that your device can connect to, and using the IPEVO visualizer software, you can then connect to the camera and use it wirelessly, which is very handy, and we'll talk more about that in a little bit. So yeah, there it is, folks, the IPEVO VZ-X, just the basics and what the buttons do. Okay, so here is the IPEVO visualizer software. Now, this software works with Mac, Windows. You can get it from their respected store, iOS, Android, Linux, and even though they have one for Raspberry Pi. It's pretty crazy. It's all free, and it all looks the same. So on my Android phone, it looks very similar, almost like identical to this. So let's just talk about it here. As you can see, I've got some Latin. I got ipsum lorem ipsum. Sorry, I printed off, and it's pretty clear. It's pretty clear. So let's talk about here. Up here, we can change your camera. Brightness. You have lots of different controls here. I'm just going to leave those alone. Here is our zoom. Again, you can zoom in, but this is a digital zoom, so it's not. Oh. Now it just crashed. That's too much zoom. Yeah, it's gone. Let's try this again. There it is. Okay. All right, we're back. Okay, so here, let me do this here. It's not going to resize, huh? So this is it, huh? This is as big as I'm going to get. If I do that, there we go. Okay, so here we have the IPEVO. I have it in full screen mode, so not going to see that stuff. And as you can see, I got a document right here. I'm live. There's my hand. So we have a set of menus on here on the left-hand side. I think that just takes them to their website. We have their action button down here, and then over here we have some more features and things. So let's start over here. This obviously can select your camera. So you can do built-in camera or that. It's pretty good. We have our zoom here. Let's see. And it's a digital zoom. It's, it is what it is. You can always move the camera down a little closer to get, there we are, to get more to get a better image. We can rotate the image, which is, we can even mirror it. It's great. Quickly rotate it. And we have lots of control here, which is really good. I'm just going to go ahead and reset it because it's good to go. Resolution, exposure, white balance, focus. Oops, there we are. And then we have these filters. Again, these are, I don't know. Maybe grayscale might be better than just normal. I'm not sure for a document. Maybe sepia. I guess it just depends on your preferences. I think they're kind of gimmicky. Now I'm going to come down here to this area here before I get to this part. We have some nice things here. This is our focus. There it goes. Here we can draw lines. They're kind of hard to see. I hope you can kind of see them. They're pretty faint. I guess if you had kind of maybe a slightly darker background, we can't change the color of the lines, but it is what it is. Now here's an interesting one. If I turn this on, it can kind of highlight, so you can kind of, I just thought it was neat. And then if I click, it'll also zoom in on just a particular thing. Oops. And if I click it again, it'll do that. Again, you can't do this. You have to have the software to do this. Another thing you can do is you can turn on your front-facing camera on your laptop, and you get a picture of yourself. Some people like to do that. I'm not a big fan of it, but hey, It's just me. We can freeze it. So here we go. Here we go. You see I'm moving my hand and I freeze and it's frozen. It's frozen. I cannot freeze it. It comes on back. It's going to refocus. At least I hope it will refocus. Here we go. There we go. Yeah, nice. And then, of course, we can turn on and off the light. So I'm going to turn on the light, and then I'm going to turn off the light in my office. Hang on. So as you can see, in this particular case, the light works out pretty well. Now, let's talk about this up here. I forgot about this. So we have a live stream. So you can live stream to YouTube and I believe Facebook Live. You got to set that up. I'm not going to do that. You have an information which gives you information about your visualizer. It's good to know. We have a settings here, and then here you have your live broadcast. See, YouTube, or only YouTube Live, time lapse, slow motion recording, snapshot, general. Pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff. And then we have this mode button. Now, when you click this, what you're going to see is all these things get really big, and that's for touchscreens. If you have a touchscreen. So this works pretty well. The problem is when I try to do a recording in this version, the recording, and this happened twice, the software locked up and my recording was corrupted. But when I go back to here, everything works fine. Everything works as it should. And that was just with recording. Everything else seemed to work no problem. Now let's come down here. Obviously this is kind of like annotation. Whatever, it's very basic, but it's fine. Now here are your actions. Now you got lots of them. So by default, you can do a snapshot, which just takes a picture. Now that is, you can click this button and it'll take the picture, or you can hit the action button. And here I'm actually going to bring this in real quick so you can see, or you can hit the action button here, and that'll also do that, initiate that action. Sure. We have a record, like just simple, boy, that's really bothering me. There we go. Just simple video recording with slow motion, the live broadcast, which I talked about, time lapse, scan a QR code, I guess kind of handy, I guess. Text to speech, it works okay. It's kind of gimmicky. There's probably better things out there. Scan to PDF. Again, this works okay. Your phone, your smartphone will definitely be better than this thing. Magnify, it brings up a little box. It magnifies just that. Stop motion, pretty handy. And then split screen, which is like the picture-in-picture. I'll just show it here. There you go. There you go. Split screen. So I'm going to turn that off. Oh, and once to record, I'm just going to cancel it there. So... And, oh, it's still, oh, you know what? I know what I have to do here. Cancel. Glad you guys are doing this. I'm figuring this out with you. I bet if I come back here, yep, there we go. I think we've got it. I don't know. Huh. Okay, all right. Okay, and now I'm going to cancel here. Definitely got a little confused there, but... hey, it is what it is. So overall, this thing is actually pretty darn good. If you're just connecting it to a projector or a display and you need to turn it on, you're good to go. This thing is super simple, and even connecting it to your computer and doing recordings and stuff is not too bad with it at all. I really do kind of like this thing. I think it is a very good value for what you're getting. We currently have some Elmos. They're older. They don't do HD. This does HD. It has an 8 megapixel camera, which, as you can see, the image is actually pretty darn close. In fact, let me just I'm going to throw a book under here as well. As you can see, that's really a very sharp image. That's an interesting read. You don't have to read it. And if I want to throw some keys on there or whatever, and back this up a little bit so everything gets on there. And maybe even turn on the light. I'm going to turn on the light here. Turn on the light. There we go, and you can kind of get a little bit more, you can see a little bit more detail. I think it does a pretty good job. All in all, I think this is a good document camera. I don't think you're going to go wrong with it.